Hi everybody, today I'm going to be focusing on triggers and analyzing pullbacks so you know when to pull the trigger. Right? So first we'll go over the mistakes and then go over the solution. So typically what you'll see is many traders, they're either getting in on the breakouts or getting in on the pullbacks. It's using different tools and techniques, but that's really it. Breakouts or pullbacks. So they'll get in on the breakout or they'll get in on the pullback. And then getting in on the pullback, either they'll get in on the pullback as it goes down or on the pullback as it reverses. All right? Pullback as it's going down or as it reverses. The first thing I want to mention is that this is a mistake. So the idea is, trying to get in because they think of a break and test situation and just put their order here. Or there's a level like, I don't know, it's 50% level. Or there is a, order block. Here they think it's going to go in and go up. But it's actually a mistake. Why? Because when you place your order, right, let's say at an order block, there's many situations that can occur. So it goes down, but it'll go down to, say, around 55, 60% and then go, and then you're going to have FOMO because it'll be a miss. Or it'll go up and it'll go down and you have your entry here and it can fill and stop and then go, creating a spring or a shakeout or a liquidity grab, whatever you want to call it. So that's why, just putting your order at a particular level is a mistake. Because, and also depends where you put it. If you put it higher up, you might have a significant drawdown and still get stopped out. So it's a major error. And this is how, because a lot of times it's going to go and sweep the low. Even if it's a rally, there's many times where, just sweep or it won't fill. And you're going to miss it by ticks and it's just going to go. So that's the issue. So what did Wyckoff use, or what did he look at? In bar charts or candle charts, the way you want to think of it is first is compare a line chart. Line chart on a rally will look like this and it'll come down, right? Bar chart will have a sequence of bars or candles, right? The difference between these two is that this chart also shows the high and the low, which means that from these two we can derive the range and the thrust. Right? So these two things you cannot derive from, you can't really derive from a line chart, but you can derive from this. But in either case, when you're analyzing, you have supply and demand, and from a price perspective, from a bar perspective, there's a third component that both of these do have, and that's the difference from close to close, from period to period. This type of chart has progress in the close. This type of chart has progress in the close along with, where am I putting it here? Along with range and thrust. So their common denominator is the progress in the close. All right, meaning the distance from close to close. The distance from close to close, whether you use a simple line chart or you use any other chart. Every chart, as long as it has a close, has the progress in the close. Line chart is typically made from closes, connecting closes, and bar and candle charts have high-low close. And so this is the common denominator. In addition to this, you have range and thrust. The way you're supposed to read this chart is from these three elements, these three things, analyzing the price, the progress in the close, range, and thrust, and then adding the volume component of it as well. But let's, practically speaking, we're looking for triggers, right? And when you're looking for triggers, analyzing progress in the close of, and then the range and the thrust, all of these three things as three separate indicators, and doing all that is sometimes a bit much. So, you have many traders, they will just have range or they'll just have progress in the close. What I'm saying is you can use either progress in the close or you can use the range as to help you with triggers. Either progress in the close or the range. Because what you'll notice is when markets rally and they pull back, when they reverse, the range of the bar, the reversal bar, typically increases. Okay? As does the progress in the close. So I'm just going to give simple examples and just focus on one. And let's focus on progress in the close. All right, you can do range as well, but progress in the close will do it. Why is this important? All right, now why is this important, and how does that teach you to identify and quantify supply and demand? That's the next topic right now. As price goes up and then goes down, what you will notice, let's just say we have a progress in the close indicator. I'll show you in a bit. What happens is, as the market goes up and then goes down, we'll make a red, let's say it's going down. Typically, this is the bullish divergence pattern in the progress in the close. Okay, watch. And the great part about this is that there's no lag. There's no lag. There's no interpretation. There's no calculation. You know exactly how it's calculated. It's like, I don't know what to call it, but it's really, you don't have to wait for moving averages to cross and all of that. So it'll get you in the minimum amount of risk, and it's valid. You understand how it's calculated. It's just from close to close, the distance from close to close. So it becomes very powerful. And the great part is it gives you a key indication that others don't. And that is when the market is pulling back, typically it does this. If it's going to have a reversal, it goes, let's just say there's a red bar up here. Then, anyway. What I do. So you see that divergence? When the market is pulling back on a bullish pullback, the progress on the close typically decrease. There is one exception to this, and that is that this is also a common pattern, and this is when they flush, all right, where you have progress in the close will be low, 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 a little bit more, and then it'll turn green. So you just have to know that this right here is the big bar that flushes and then reverses. But in general, you will see this divergence in the closes, in the progress in the closes, and then it's going to reverse. All right, that right here, that associated with the green bar, when the closes diverge, when the closes reverse like that, that is like a trigger. But the key is, it's not just the green bar and the close, it's the background with that will give you the insight. Specifically, the descending closes represent supply drying up. The close here is the same. Supply drying up, flush, reversal. This you see, these two happen all the time. And when supply dries up, it is critical because you're on the springboard, ready for a reversal. So this is why it's so important that you're able to see this clearly. And this is what can be used for trigger identification as a, helpful means to identify a reversal, or even better, to show that on the way down, the bullish divergence in the progress in the closes is an indication of supply drying up, leading or causing or emboldening the bulls to come in and do that. Because there are orders here that don't allow the closes and the thrusts to occur. So, and this can easily, it's a very simple indicator that can be created from just measuring the close to close. And it makes a lot of sense. Even on a line chart, you have intervals from minute to minute, 5 minute to 5 minute, hour to hour, where you're measuring the close to close progress as a measure of supply or demand. And you will see many times near the turning point this happens. It might not be 4 bars, it might be like 2 or 3, but you will see that supply is drying up, and it can be measured using this, this approach of measuring closes. Highly effective, and if you want to know more about it, you can just read what Wyckoff wrote in his first study, where he talked about a market being on the springboard, and how he detected it was by identifying there was no progress in the closes. Therefore, the indicator is called progress in the closes. All right, that's all, folks. Have a good weekend. Bye.